Hey, brothers and sisters of Christ. So, there's been a lot of controversy about holy hip hop and its place in the church. Most people want to know, can it be used as a valid form of worship for Christ, or is it simply a wolf in sheep's clothing, contaminating the church? In this video series, we're going to explore the origins of hip hop and its role in today's church. After this series, you will be able to decide for yourself if holy hip hop belongs in the church or not. Hip-hop began in the mid-1970s in the boroughs of New York. It is often argued in what exact borough it was created. Queens or the Bronx. We'll touch on that subject a little later. It is believed that hip-hop first originated in the inner-city parks of the ghettos. The locals on the weekends would head to the nearest parks and set up a sound system and play popular music in which the attendees would sing along and dance. It was a way to unwind from the daily stresses of the week. Most residents were living in extreme poverty, and this was a way to temporarily escape their troubles and have a good time. The person who usually brought the sound system along with the music was usually called the disc jockey, or DJ for short. The DJ usually had a set of turntables, which were two record players put together, which allowed them to play two records simultaneously without stopping the music to switch and mix the records. Most of the music being played at these events was funk, soul, dance, and disco. It was also an inexpensive way for people to party without paying entrance fees at discos and clubs. The pioneer of this technique can be given credit to Clive Campbell, or better known as DJ Kool Herc, an immigrant from Jamaica who lived in the Bronx. DJ Kool Herc would take the breaks, or instrumental favorite parts of the songs, isolate them, and extend them because of their short length. He would often say a short rhyme and a shout-out, or publicly announce the presence of people he knew in the crowd. During these breaks, there will also be dancers known as break boys or break girls, b-boys or b-girls for short, who came up with a particular dance style known as breakdancing. The moves usually consisted of pop locking and back spins on flattened cardboard boxes. One famous breakdancer that usually comes to mind is Crazy Legs. As this style of music became popular in the late 70s and early 80s, DJs, breakdancers, and MCs, the person usually performing rhymes on a microphone, started spawning across the New York tri-state area. Some of the most notable DJs, MCs, and breakdancers are Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Curtis Blow, Lovebug Starski, and Afrika Bambaataa, just to name a few. Around this time, the invention of the beat machine, which were drum machines and samplers, became popular and useful to DJs. They used music production centers, or MPCs for short, to customize, sample, mix, and record their own music and put it on record. The music became so popular that people often argued who was the best MC, DJ, and dance crew, so it sparked friendly rivals amongst crews to have battles. Different crews would get together and have dance battles or dance-offs, as well as MCs would have rhyming competitions, or what is now called rap battles, to prove who was the best around. One of the most famous rap battles during this time was between KRS-One of Boogie Down Productions and Marley Marl and MC Shan. The friendly musical feud began when MC Shan and Marley Marl made a song about the birthplace of hip-hop originating in Queensbridge, New York. The track was entitled The Bridge and quickly grabbed the attention of South Bronx residents KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions. They wanted to make a response song called South Bronx, which tells the story of hip-hop originating in the Bronx. Around this time, hip-hop had not made it in the mainstream of the music industry, so only a few artists were signed at the time, and not a lot of money was being made in the genre, despite its growing popularity in the urban and some suburban neighborhoods. Hip-hop at this time was considered underground and could only be heard in local clubs and parties in predominantly black and Hispanic communities. By the mid-1980s, hip-hop had gone from being about song play and dance to more about lyrical content. The artists at this time began to use their lyrics as a form of self-expression. They would normally rap, which is the modern-day term for MCing, about the living conditions in their environments, personal feelings, etc. By this time, the drug crack cocaine was on the streets heavily, and its use was taking its toll on the urban neighborhoods. Poverty in some areas skyrocketed, leaving many homeless and some families unable to make ends meet in some cases. Most rap artists at this time barely had enough money to support their career, and in some cases their own families, turned to the selling of the drugs and other illegal acts for financial support. At this time, hip-hop was in the local clubs, and so were the drugs. At most of the parties, people sold and used various drugs, so it attracted many dealers. As the demand rose, so did the violence. Fights, stabbings, and shootings became a regular occurrence at the clubs due to rival drug crews and gangs fighting for turf. As this behavior became more prevalent, rap artists now began to make songs of the activities and crimes they've witnessed or were into themselves. Rappers who were signed to major labels, such as LL Cool J, promoted hip-hop in a different way. Majority of his songs talked about the good life and songs of love, money, and parties. Most of his pictures and album covers portrayed him with flashy jewelry and nice cars, which now began to point hip-hop in a different direction. LL Cool J was signed to the label Def Jam, which was started by Rick Rubin in his dorm room at New York University's Weinstein dorm in 1981. Russell Simmons joined shortly after and signed LL Cool J in 1984. LL Cool J began to catch the public eye after his single, I Need Love, which is the first unofficial rap ballad. As this new form of hip-hop became popular, it attracted larger record labels to sign more rap artists, as they foresaw the potential of wealth to the industry. And this concludes part 1 of this video series. Next, we will discuss hip-hop becoming a subculture in our society.